You're watching News Central now on News Central Television. I am Lekan on Onabanjo. The top stories at this hour. Okojumbo-led lawmakers hold sitting in Rivers State despite appeal court ruling. Rwandan President Paul Kagame highlights unity and freedom on 30th anniversary of Liberation Day. New Prime Minister Keir Starmer names Rachel Reeves Britain's first female chancellor. Details to come your way shortly. News Central now at this hour begins in Nigeria's Rivers State, where the factional Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Victor Okojumbo, has confirmed the filing of an appeal at the Supreme Court, challenging the judgment of the appeal court delivered on Wednesday in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Okojumbo clarified that the action was necessitated by the fact that the Assembly strongly believes that the Court of Appeal was in error when it held that the Rivers State High Court lacked the jurisdiction to hear and determine suit. News Central correspondent Austin Azu completes the reports.
4 hours after the appeal court verdict on the Rivers State House of Assembly crisis, the factional Speaker Victor Okojumbo at Friday's plenary at the temporary facility used for legislative businesses in Port Harcourt first addressed other lawmakers about the court's verdict.
We strongly believe that the Court of Appeal was in error when it held that the Rivers State High Court lacked the jurisdiction to hear and determine suit number PHC 1512 CS 2024. Accordingly, we have instructed our lawyers and they have filed an appeal to the Supreme Court of Nigeria, challenging the judgment of the Court of Appeal delivered on the 4th day of July 2024.
He reiterated that the seats of Martin Amawolem and 24 other former lawmakers remain vacant as declared by the then Speaker Edison Ehio on 13th December 2023, following the defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress on the 11th day of December 2023. While substantiating why there cannot be 2 speakers in the Rivers State House of Assembly, Okojumbo declared that he remains the authentic speaker because there cannot be 2 houses of assembly in Rivers State.
We, the legitimate members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, hereby call on the Independent National Electoral Commission to immediately and promptly conduct a by-election to fill the vacant seats in the Rivers State House of Assembly. We strongly urge the general public to ignore Martin Samehuli and 24 others in their pretense that they are members of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Court of Appeal had on 4th of July in its lead judgment allowed the appeal by Martin Amawolem and 24 other lawmakers of Rivers State on the ground that the Rivers State High Court lacked the jurisdiction to hear and determine the case. In Port Harcourt for News Central, Austin Azu.
The Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has insisted that Asoye Ighodalo remains the party's flag bearer in the coming governorship polls in September. This is coming as Justice Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Thursday voided the February 2024 election that produced Ighodalo on the ground that 378 delegates who were supposed to vote at the primary election were unlawfully excluded by the party. Marvelous Obomano tells us more.
On February 2024, Nigeria's People's Democratic Party in Edo State held its primary election to elect its flag bearer in the upcoming September governorship poll. The ballot had 10 candidates, including the immediate past deputy governor of the state, Philip Shuaibu. However, Asoye Ighodalo was announced the winner of the primaries by the party officials after securing 577 votes to beat his closest rival, the former deputy governor of the state, Shuaibu, who got only 1 vote. This did not go down well with the former deputy governor, who says that the list of delegates for the election was tampered with by party officials loyal to the governor who did not support his candidacy.
The people that I saw at Samuel Okmuras today were not delegates. They were staff of government. I said that. So as far as I'm concerned, I've been vindicated. I said it from day one that what transpired in Samuel Okmuras Stadium was just likened to a birthday party's reception or a wedding reception, because the authentic delegates were not there. Don't forget, I used the word authentic delegate, and I'm happy that the court has vindicated me.
The case was brought before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Justice Inyang Ekwo, while delivering judgment over the claims, voided the primaries held by the party, saying 378 delegates who were supposed to vote were unlawfully excluded. However, since the judgment by the Court of Appeal, there have been diverse reactions, as those loyal to the party say the judgment was taken out of context and dismiss claims that the election has not been nullified. The PDP in Edo State are also attributing the claims to the handiwork of mischief makers who are unsettled with the rising popularity of Asue Ighodalo.
This honorable court did not make any order nullifying the primary and the election of Dr. Asuerime Ighodalo as the PDP candidate who won that primary election by 577 votes. What the court said is that some delegates were excluded. And don't forget that those delegates under section 8414 have no locus to question the primaries. We owe the duty to this nation to tell the truth. And don't forget that my Lord Justice Ekwo, a very seasoned, very cerebral judge, did not make any order nullifying the primary.
A certified true copy of the judgment is not yet out to resolve the ongoing disputes regarding the position of the court. The PDP has also not made it clear it will be appealing the judgment. However, party faithful will be hoping that the rumors claiming their candidate has been disqualified from the upcoming poll remains untrue. In Abuja for News Central, Marvelous Obomman.
Let's now tell you that the House of Representatives has launched a probe into the 1.5 billion naira meant for the payment of contractors, but allegedly diverted by principal officers of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. The House Committee on Women Affairs commenced the probe in Abuja against the backdrop of petitions by contractors over non-payment of contracts executed. Kafilat Odbara, chairman of the committee, said that the ministry initiated new contracts not captured in the 2023 budget and diverted 1.5 billion naira bin funds for old contractors. She added that the ministry, while owing contractors, awarded fresh contracts in 15 states of the Federation, which she alleged was not captured in the 2023 appropriation. Away from that, there was heavy security at the head office of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission situated in Awolowo Road, Ikoyi area of Lagos State. The commission had raised the alarm that some groups were planning a series of protests against the EFCC. Operatives of the Lagos State Anti-Crime Outfit Rapid Response Squad with their vans were stationed strategically at routes leading to the Lagos EFCC office. Men of the Department of State Services were also among the joint security forces who were at the routes with patrol vans, heavy anti-riot gun trucks, and Black Marias. The protesters under the tag #ReformEFCC have outlined 6 key demands, which include indiscriminate arrests to be resubmitted to various offices of the Commission across the country. You're watching News Central now. We'll continue in a bit after the short timeout. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Still talking legal matters now. A family court in Lagos has referred the case between musician Davido and Sophia Momodu to the Lagos Settlements Program scheduled for September. The program was created in 2012 to help courts reduce backlogs through mediation, arbitration, neutral evaluation, and other alternative dispute resolution procedures. Justice A.J. Bashua made the ruling after a short hearing regarding their legal battle over custody of their daughter. Davido had originally sought a court order for joint custody and unrestricted access to his child. News Central's Niyomoni has more in this report.
Right in front of Court 1 in Yaba Division, and this is the court of Honorable Justice A.J. Bashua, and is going to be presiding over the lawsuit initiated by David Adeleke, aka Davido, popularly known as Davido, against his former or his ex, if we put it that way, Sophia Momodu.
The court convened at 10 a.m. However, prior to commencement of proceedings, counsel for the defense led by attorney Anthony Digbe drew the court's attention to the presence of journalists in the courtroom. Counsel also objected to the manner in which his client, Sophia Momodu, was served notice via newspaper publication, given that such publication mentioned the name of a minor in contravention of sections 143, 144 and 145 of the Lagos State Child Rights Law of 2015. Presiding judge then directed the media or the litigants and their legal counsel to vacate the courtroom.
David Adeleke decided to approach the court seeking joint custody of the daughter in question here, noting that he wants unrestricted access to the daughter, the 9-year-old daughter, and Sophia is not having so much of it. Sophia claiming David had actually stopped his fatherly obligation about 2 years ago because he stopped giving him a body.
Speaking of the record following the hearing, Sophia's counsel hinted that the judge had referred the matter to the Lagos Settlement Week program, while the petitioner's counsel gave no response.
We referred for settlement. We have this annual settlement week.
It's not our practice to begin to talk about all of those. So what is the court has ruled that, and I think that the journalists should respect the orders of the court.
Thank you very much.
For the time being, a 46-page affidavit filed by the petitioner, David Adeleke, and the respondent's 102-paragraph counter-affidavit strongly opposing the former holds the key to the future and custody of the minor involved as both parties proceed to the Lagos Settlement Week session scheduled for September. In Lagos 4 News Central, Ni Omani.
Let's talk security now. Amidst ongoing efforts for peace and reconciliation in Nigeria's northeast state of Borno, stakeholders from Ajari community of Jere local government area have convened a dialogue session aimed at integrating the radicalized insurgents back into the society. The stakeholders, including religious leaders, local authorities, and community leaders in Ajari, reiterated calls for peaceful coexistence and acceptance of former insurgents as the best solution. News Central Sumar Kirawa completes the reports.
An interactive session held at a community center highlighted the way out of the insurgency that ravaged the communities, emphasizing the importance of forgiveness and mutual acceptance to foster sustainable peace.
If I give you go to a memory lane, this palace was once burned down, lives are lost, but it's the issues of past now. We have no option rather than to give chance to the peace. Let peace be.
It is better we embrace reintegration so that when we live with ourselves and with everybody, there will be that fear in them that they will not go out again to do evil. But when we reject them, they will say, okay, since you reject us, we are coming for you.
I just want to assure you that we are going to continue our collaboration with you. We are going to continue our support. All the support that we normally give, we are going to ensure that it continues.
The stakeholders enjoined community members to support the reintegration process, emphasizing opportunities such as access to farming and other livelihood initiatives crucial for rebuilding lives affected by conflict.
sai inge ari isa bula nam zanya lamar kun bare da ma isu kutujin go kuso nduso kenda Nigeria no ma mosona ne yarwa da yana da.
Those women who are now coming, in fact, begging their own babies to come and then undertake suicide mission within the society as they and devastate our society, is they want to take revenge, they said. It is now left on the stakeholders and communities to understand and then address these issues properly.
Let us commit to actionable outcomes that will translate into real positive changes in the lives of displaced persons and our broader community.
The NUJ Borno State Council, as a champion of free speech, information dissemination and accountability, is dedicated to playing a key role in supporting this process.
The people hope that with peaceful coexistence in the community, with de-radicalized and reintegrated former insurgents, more peace and development can be achieved in the region. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
And talking about tackling cybercrime in Africa, security experts are calling for increased investment in the cybersecurity sector so as to boost the war against cybercrime. The call was made during a session at the ongoing conference by the International Association of Women Police in Africa. News Central's Joshua Marai has more in this report.
Deliberations have continued at the ongoing conference organized by International Association of Women Police in Africa, holding in Abuja. The chairperson of the Central Planning Committee for the conference emphasized the need to forge a unified front in fighting crime and enhancing policing practices across Africa.
The world is about collaboration. It is about inclusivity. And when you look at inclusivity, it's also part of Mr. President's renewed hope agenda. So what we are expecting is that we'll see more collaboration among or within the African sub-region, because crime and criminality does not have border. So we are looking at how we can collaborate, how we can share experience, and also it's an avenue for networking and so many other things.
Participants urge government to increase its investment in cybersecurity infrastructure across the continent, saying there's a need to improve protection against the digital threats.
I understand there's about 18 to 20 countries present here today. So each one of you has a duty to campaign within the police command and the police force that you represent, or the security agency that you represent, that there's got to be more investment in the area of cybersecurity from your government. Thank you.
The director of the Nigeria Police Force Cybercrime Center also took time to address controversies surrounding the nation's 2015 Cybercrime Act, saying that the legislation places more emphasis on prosecuting cybercriminals.
The act is actually meant to, to help, Nigerians. It's a law. And of course, whatever thing you do in life, there are consequences. If you break the law, there are consequences. So, of course, the law is meant to guide our operations and also to help us to prosecute offenders. So it's not actually a channel to victimize anybody, no. So, but if you go contrary to the laws, of course, the law will take its course, and that's what the act is meant for.
As the conference progresses, participants will be hoping to engage in discussions that will promote gender equality, empowerment, and excellence in law enforcement. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Let's now tell you that the ECOWAS Council of Ministers say that advanced progress has been made in the establishment of a regional standby force expected to tackle terrorism, trans-border crime, and end the unconstitutional change of power through coups among member states. The ECOWAS president also informed the council that efforts to bring back the states of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic back to the regional body has been unsuccessful, as they have refused to respond to all entreaties by the Commission. Amadine Uyi reports.
It was a meeting of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers. The summit is expected to help develop a blueprint that will ensure the progress of the sub-region and identify concise action plans needed to be taken.
Our agenda reflects the diverse and pressing issues that our community faces. Today's discussions and decisions will shape the future trajectory of our region. As such, This session will delve into a multitude of areas.
It is becoming increasingly evident that we need to further pool our resources and pursue collective self-reliance for the benefit of our populations. This is only possible if we agree to establish common positions and objectives with minimum points of cooperation to deal with the current challenges and commit strongly to realizing them.
Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs gave an update on the establishment of a regional standby force, saying advanced progress has been reached regarding its formation.
Our ministers of finance and defense have met to develop plans to mobilize the funds needed to establish an ECOWAS standby force. This is a formation that will help safeguard our community against terrorism and unconstitutional changes of government.
The ECOWAS president also informed those present, saying not much has been achieved in bringing the states of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger back to the regional body.
We have not yet been able to establish a framework for negotiation with the authorities in Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger on their decision to withdraw their membership from the community. Despite our entreaties in the form of softening of sanctions, invitations of the government to technical meetings, and requests for meetings, we have not yet gotten the right signals from these member states.
He urged all member states to unite and leverage opportunities presented by the summit to help resolve challenges affecting their states.
This is not the time to work at cross purposes. We need to work in unity and solidarity. The special summit, the summit will hopefully lead to a minimum convergence and expectations of the behavior of each member state of the community on matters affecting the entire community.
The ECOWAS Council of Ministers meeting ends on July the 5th. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Coming up on the news, Rwanda President Paul Kagame highlights unity and freedom on 30th anniversary of Liberation Day. We'll bring you details of this after this short timeout. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us. We take you to East Africa now. 4th of July is a day set aside in the Rwandan calendar to commemorate the liberation of Rwanda. The day, known locally as Kwibohora, commemorates the end of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, a tragic event that claimed more than 1 million lives. The Rwandan Patriotic Army, the armed wing of the Rwandan Patriotic Front, brought the genocide to an end on this day, marking a new era for the nation. The celebration day featured a military parade showcasing the strength and unity of Rwanda's defense and security forces. Thousands of Rwandans, including government officials, members of the Rwanda Defense Force, Rwanda National Police, and other security organs, gathered to honor the day. In his address, the Rwandan President Paul Kagame emphasized the significance of the liberation and the progress Rwanda has made since then. News Central's Bongani Siziba gives us the story.
Rwandans today are better and stronger than we have ever been. We keep marching forward like the men and women of our defense and security forces who have just paraded before us. 3 decades ago, this building was the site of refuge and rescue.
For Rwandans, this day is a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who fought for their peace and unity, and the importance of preserving the peace and stability that has been achieved.
Rwandan security posture has always been defensive, not offensive. We only act when trouble is brought to us.
As Rwanda prepares for the upcoming elections on July 15th, President Kagame has issued a stern warning to those who would seek to destabilize the country.
If we had not changed the formula here in Rwanda, for sure, our country would still be under a United Nations peacekeeping force, divided and destitute. Liberation cannot be imposed on people by force or fear. It is unlocked by a free choice that each citizen makes in their heart.
As Rwanda looks to the future, it is clear that the country has made tremendous progress in recent years. But there are still challenges ahead. For most Rwandans, the immediate task is to remain vigilant and committed to preserving the peace and stability that has been achieved in the country. For News Central, Bongani, Siziba.
To discuss this further, we are joined by the managing editor, Pan-African Review Media, Lonzen Rugira, and he joins me from Kigali right there in Rwanda. Lonzen, thank you so much for joining us on the news, and we say happy Liberation Day to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here.
So based on what Paul Kagame said while addressing the citizens of the state, I'd like to find out, so what is the significance of Rwanda Liberation Day to the citizens, to the president, and to everyone who's actually celebrating the day today?
The significance is that Liberation Day for Rwandans, it's a restart. It is a point of departure towards a common identity. Before that, genocide was made possible because the country was organized along ethnicity, along separate subnational identities. So the liberation is the starting point. It is a point of departure towards a common citizenship, towards a unified identity. So for Rwandans, that is the significance. It's that the path that we are on begins with the Liberation Day.
Okay, so the president was very, very focal and vocal when he talked about unity and national identity. Now, when you look at what has happened in the past and how every year this particular day is being celebrated, has it united these different tribes or races? Has it brought about more unity for all these tribes in the country? Can you say that the national identity speaks more of, you know, people that have come together and are willing to be united?
Yes. I think that building unity, there is no society in the world where the quest to build unity is complete. It is always a project. It is a continuous project where you deepen unity. And the significance of the journey that Rwanda is on, building that unity, is such that right after the genocide, President Kagame could have built an apartheid ethnic state because the pressure was there to avenge the pressure to build a mono-ethnic state was there. He could have taken that path of entrenching ethnic apartheid, but he didn't. He chose instead to integrate the army that had been defeated, the army that had committed genocide, and he integrated soldiers from that army. He took, as long as anybody who was willing to abandon the ideology of genocide, Kagame chose to reconcile with the people or who were in the previous government, or who were in the army, who were in the civil service. Everyone who renounced the ideology that was used to commit genocide, Kagame chose to build a path towards reconciliation with those who denounced the genocide ideology. So the legitimacy was there for him to say, you know what, the genocide was committed towards the Tutsi ethnic group, and that we are going to build a mono-ethnic apartheid state, because we've seen many of these. We know that these happen elsewhere, but he did not take that path. And the substance of which he has taken the collective national identity, the path which he chose away from that destruction, is such that he's able to build a state where identity, we are all Rwandans. Okay. And he's able to build a state that is neutral in all Rwandans, where everyone sees himself in it, and the state is not at the service of a particular ethnic group. And so that path on itself is tremendous, and it is significant, because that capacity to restrain himself from following what would have been the easy path of building the apartheid ethnic state.
It's nice to see that that sense of belonging is beginning to come into the consciousness of Rwandans, and we hope that this will continue in time. Lonzen Rugira, thank you so much for talking to us, and we hope that you just enjoy your day with the rest of course, Rwandans at this time.
It is my pleasure. Hopefully next time we'll have more time to go in depth on these matters. But Rwanda's liberation, by the way, is not complete, because it is in fact an African liberation. Okay. So it is not about Rwanda. It is about Africa.
All right. We can pick it from there and scale it abroad. Thank you very much, Rugira.
Thank you.
Still ahead on the news. Rachel Reeves becomes UK's first female chancellor. We have details of this and other stories after the break. Join us again. From other continents now, we tell you that Britain's head of state, King Charles III, officially appointed Labour leader Keir Starmer as Prime Minister on Friday during an audience at Buckingham Palace. A photograph released by the palace showed the monarch shaking hands with Starmer, whose party won a landslide election victory. The king earlier accepted the resignation of Conservative leader Rishi Sunak. Starmer's centre-left opposition Labour Party swept to a landslide general election victory, ending 14 years of right-wing Conservative rule. In the meantime, UK's new Prime Minister Keir Starmer has made Rachel Reeves Britain's first female Chancellor, as he appoints his new cabinet to get on with the job quickly. One of his easiest appointments for the new Prime Minister was Ms. Reeves as his new Chancellor. She played a major role in the campaign, and as a former Bank of England economist, has helped bring economic credibility back to Labour from the wreckage of the Jeremy Corbyn years. She's the first female to hold the second most important role in government in 708 years of the office being in existence. Earlier, Angela Rayner has been handed her own department as Secretary of State for Levelling Up, Housing and Communities, taking over from Michael Gove. To discuss this, we're joined by our international correspondent, Afia Hagen. Afia, now, what is the mood like in the country after this historic election? Let's start from there.
Yes, definitely. We've had mixed fortunes with the weather, so it's been quite a grey and drizzly day, and it certainly was earlier on when Rishi Sunak gave his resignation speech. But the sun came out when Keir Starmer stood on those steps at number 10 Downing Street in front of the Prime Minister's lectern and accepted his role as the next Prime Minister. I think there is a mood of quiet kind of acceptance that change is coming, but we know that it won't be sweeping. We know that it won't be dramatic. It's not 1997 when the Labour Party swept to power and we saw joyous scenes on the streets. There's definitely a sense of relief, but there's more of a sense of stoicism this time round, and I think that was definitely reflected in Keir Starmer's speech. He was humble, he was certainly gracious, he had a sense of gravitas about him that I don't think we've really seen from him before. I think he has certainly grown into that role of being Prime Minister right before our very eyes over the past 2 days. And so I think, yes, there's a sense of optimism, of quiet optimism in the country, but there's also an acknowledgement that this election wasn't just about a win for Labour, but it was also about people voting against the Conservative, hence why we've seen such big Liberal Democrat gains, and of course the Reform Party getting 4 seats also.
All right, and we know that Starmer has actually named his new cabinet. We have Rachel Reeves, who has been there, done that in the economic terrain for the country. We have Angela Rayner, who's also stepping into a very, very important department. What more can you tell us, most especially about these two persons, and of course the other people that will form in the team of his cabinet as part of what they hope to achieve in the coming months?
Yeah, that's right. Rachel Reeves, the first ever Chancellor of the Exchequer, just 45 years old, but a career economist, and definitely that's what we need in that job. Now, she has said that there isn't much money around, that she is going to have to be tight, and we might even see raised taxes. But it's incredible that we, for the first time in 2024, that we have the first female Chancellor. Angela Rayner, she's Deputy Prime Minister. She's also the Minister for Levelling Up and Housing. She is the only minister who's lived in social housing to be the housing minister, and that is really, really significant. If there's one thing about this cabinet, it's definitely very varied in the backgrounds of people. Yvette Cooper becomes the Home Secretary. David Lammy is going to become the Foreign Secretary as well. He was talking earlier on about the challenges that he's going to face, especially about Palestine, and pro-Palestinian candidates have done quite well as independents in this election as well. He's been talking about the challenges that perhaps he will face on an international stage. Remember, they have that NATO meeting next week. Lisa Nandy is the new Cultural Secretary. Steve Reid is going to be appointed as Environment, Food and Rural Affairs there also. So some departments and some appointments that we absolutely expected. Pretty much all of the shadow cabinet has gone on to become the cabinet of government. We know that they are going to have a meeting tomorrow morning to get on with the business of Parliament. We also know that the Parliament recess that happens during the summer will be shorter this year as well.
Of course, we know that the cost of living crisis is one big issue in the minds of citizens in the UK, and we hope that this particular team will be able to deliver on that. Afi Hagen, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us and helping us have this detail at this time. We talk sports now. Africa's sole representative at the WTT star contender Bangkok, Aruna Quadri, has crashed out of the tournament after losing 3 sets to nothing against Japan's Yukida Uda in the second round of the men's singles. Aruna, the number 4 seed, was no match for Uda, who avenged his narrow loss the last time both players met in 2018 at the Hong Kong Open. The reigning African champion now shifts his focus to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, hoping to have garnered enough ranking points to ensure a favorable seeding for the men's singles draw. He will be hoping to surpass his Rio 2016 quarterfinal finish and become the first African to reach the podium at the Olympics. Let's also tell you that Britain has unveiled a strong track and field team for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Athletes like Keely Hodgkinson, Molly Quadri and Joss Kerr will lead Britain's 64-strong track and field squad to the Paris Olympics. The team features a blend of seasoned athletes and fresh talent, aiming to leave a significant mark on the international stage. Among the notable selections is 17-year-old star Phoebe Gill, who will compete in the women's 800 meters. The team also welcomes back 2022 World 1,500-meter champion Jake Wakeman, who secured the final spot in the men's 800 meters despite missing the trials due to injury. Meanwhile, the squad has some surprising omissions like CJ Uja, whose positive drug test led to the forfeiture of the Great Britain's 4x100-meter relay silver medal in Tokyo. American professional boxer Ryan Garcia has been expelled by the WBC after using racial slurs and Islamophobic language on social media. The American made the comments on X Spaces platform, which allows people to have live video conversations. WBC President Mauricio Suleiman announced the penalty against Garcia on the same X platform. Last month, Garcia was suspended for a year by the New York State Athletic Commission, which also ruled that his April 20 victory over Devin Haney would be considered a no contest after he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. And that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, we'll take a look at some of our top stories. Okojumbo-led lawmakers hold sitting in Rivers State despite appeal court ruling. Rwanda President Paul Kagame highlights unity and freedom on 30th anniversary of Liberation Day. We also told you that new Prime Minister Keir Starmer names Rachel Reeves Britain's first female Chancellor. Don't forget to send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number and email on your screen. You can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV, and you can equally watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Arvo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekan Onabanjo.